You got one life, for crying out loud. You might as well just give it all you got.
The Deej, Dan Jordan.
Your daily dose of reality. Your daily dose of the Deej.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I need my daily dose of the Deej.
I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader.
The Sales Energizer, Dan Jordan.
Listen, don't worry how to sell, baby. Worry about why people buy. And it's fun.
You don't need a 5-hour energy. All you need is the Sales Energizer.
Just when I think it's not going to be as fun as the one before, each one gets successfully better. What's the word I'm looking for? What's it going to take to get you into this car today, huh?
And now, please welcome the Sales Energizer, Dan Jordan.
Boom! That's exactly it. Do that. Let's do that. I tell you what, you are the world's best producer. I cannot believe how awesome that was. A surprise. I had no idea you made those changes. That was great.
Yeah. For those of you who are tuning in to Dan Jordan Live, my name is Chris, and not the most important person on the screen, but because it's not my show. It's this other guy's show.
That was awesome.
That intro was not approved by my client before we ran it. So there was a bit of riskiness in this whole thing. You would have seen a live firing right here on Dan Jordan Live.
Oh my gosh. Was that great? I'm telling you, that's a great Thanksgiving Day present. I love that.
Yeah, well, we have to dress the place up a little bit.
That's
it's like
right.
we're getting all these great guests on, and
we're getting awesome guests.
And those of you who are tuning in, and who our guest is, and maybe you came over because of our guest, and you're like, who are these two knuckleheads on the screen? We're going to get to our guest in a minute, but what I want to do is maybe I'm going to embarrass Dan a little bit, which would be maybe another surprise, but. We haven't really put out an audio podcast lately. There's been a lot of these shows. And one of the reasons is, both of us are busy doing a number of things, and the guests that we have on the show. But Dan, you've been extremely busy being on other people's podcasts.
Well, we've been rocking and rolling.
Everybody
needs a bit of the Deej. You got to spread it out. You don't want to hold it all to yourself.
Right. But what I want to let the people know is that, if you're a fan of the Deej and you watch Dan Jordan Live, what you get on these other podcasts is not what you get on the show. And that's something that even last night, Victor Antonio on Sales After Dark, Dan, I don't know if you stayed up way past your bedtime to watch Victor chime in, but Victor talked specifically about this podcast. Let me get this graphic up. When Dan was on his podcast, he talked specifically about how he felt that the depth that you brought, and there was just another side of you on this podcast. You talked a lot about your history, and not just the stuff you've covered before about your dad, but some of the stories that I've worked with you for a very long time and I've not heard. So
all right.
Yeah.
You actually enough.
Okay. I told you to do that.
But go to the podcast. It's good. But if you really want depth, we got more stuff. Okay, so you are
and earlier this week, our buddy Kurt Mercadante, who was on last week's show. You were on Kurt's show, and what I really liked about that as well is that you guys weren't talking about the same stuff. Again, it's just another side of you, not necessarily being, the host. You were, the guest, and so for those of you who are looking for another podcast but still have Dan on it, I think those are two great ones to check out. So now that you're blushing, Dan.
All right, I actually am blushing, but it's because I'm so nervous about our next guest, because this guy actually has more energy than me. I look at him, he pumps me up in the morning. And it's amazing. Not only does he bring his great stuff, but the products and everything he talks about adds value to everybody. So hurry up and get him on here. Enough of it.
Okay. Geez. All right. Yeah. Okay. So we'll not embarrass Dan any longer, and we'll get to the main course, if you will. So if folks, if you would please just welcome to our show, we're honored to have the award-winning marketer, Sales World Top 50 keynote speaker, 2020 top SaaS branding expert, and of course, you know him as the Chief Revenue Officer of the sales engagement software for inside sales, which is VanillaSoft, Mr. Darryl Praill.
You got to put your arms in the air.
The D's, the sales energizer, Dan Jordan and Chris Stone. I love that. Dan Jordan and Chris Stone. You're the only cat I know where I watch your stuff and I'm like, damn. He brings it way more than I bring it. And that's the first time I saw your stuff. My first comment was like, holy smokes, man. Like, I was on fire. Well, and Victor rocks, by the way. Love Victor.
Oh, yeah. And and that's exactly what people don't realize when people put out content and stuff on LinkedIn and all those social media sites, we really crave any kind of engagement. There's someone to respond. And if you do
talk to me, yes,
that's right. And so he got, made a comment or something. And so I immediately reached out to him. I have to do, I got something here. And I'm just so pleased that you would come on the show and share your wisdom with us.
Oh, dude, your stuff is awesome. I love watching your stuff. And I'm not saying that to suck up because I know it probably sounds like I'm sucking up. And Chris already made you blush. But I loved it because you've got a few things going that I'm a big fan of myself. And not everybody nails it. You have an interesting balance. And so this is my advice to anybody who wants to be, notable. You have an interesting balance of energy and brevity. In other words, you make your point. You're not too long. You're not too short. It's just engaging enough. I want to stay to the end. I'm not scared by the duration, but you hook me. And you're not always fixed to one spot. I'm on a journey with you as you're walking around your boardroom table, whatever it might be, I'm with you. And so many people don't understand that you just got to be yourself. You got to be personable. You got to engage. And what I love most and respect most about you, and this is not just Dan, but all the people that I follow, is they have a take. So my brother, I respect that so much.
That's
oh my gosh, I got people already in the comments. Okay, ignore anything from David Perry. All right, just so you know.
David says you're sucking up.
Okay, what you need to know is David Perry is the world-class best-selling author recruiter who actually placed me here at VanillaSoft. I had no idea he was going to be here. So
really?
There you go. Yes,
so I was going to ask. So you've got basically two things. You're Darryl Praill, almost a real human.
Almost.
And you are the VanillaSoft. You said the Chief Revenue Officer, but you're branding for them. You are the company. The company is you. Which came first?
So Darryl Praill came first, but Darryl Praill, the brand of VanillaSoft, gained way more notoriety when I took over the job, and it was out of necessity because. For those who don't know, and those who have heard me say this before, they always guffaw when I say this. Look that one up, kids. Guffaw. It's a great word. I'm an introvert. So I had no need to be this video brand ambassador until VanillaSoft. And the reason I had to do it when I came to VanillaSoft was because VanillaSoft competes against companies who have like $250, $300 million in funding and have resources and they can lose money while they go for market share. And VanillaSoft has less than 1% of that. So the only way our voice was going to be heard in a really crowded marketplace was if we created a personal brand ambassador. And nobody here at the company was really inclined to step up. My role at the time was CMO. So by default, if no one else says pick me, it fell to me. And so that was why I did it, because I had no money and I was poor.
This is why we have these shows, because that's real meat.
I have a hard time believing you're an introvert, Darryl.
Yes, everybody says that. I guess technically if I do the test now, I'm an ambivert now because I've done this for so many years. You learn how to straddle both sides. But it's true. Like a good example. So I travel a lot. I do a lot of keynote speaking back when there used to be live events. And after every day, it's like, okay, we did our thing. It's like 5 or 6. I did my token beer with you or what have you. We did talk shop. And you want to go for dinner? No, I got an appointment because I'm really going back to my room just to go because I'm spent. I'm done. And everybody looks at me like, really? And I'm like, yeah, it wipes me out.
Yeah, that's a little secret. I do that too. It's the same thing. Well, yeah, I'm off the. I even don't go for that beer. Sometimes I have to go. I'll say, "Oh, I'll meet you there," and I just sit away.
That's right. I'll meet you there in an hour because I need to have a little bit of decompression time to get back up again.
That's right. And then the next day, where were you? Oh, you know what happened? I decompressed and I just fell asleep. And there we go.
Yes,
just like that.
I suck. I'm an old man.
Yeah, so that's exactly what. But it's money. Most people. The beauty about this world that we live in now, with everything's online and like this, you can do this social media, is, man, I could be flying right now, but 3 minutes after we shut it off, you don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I could be, doing all the introvert stuff that makes you comfortable, and you're not doing it right now.
A good day for me. This is gonna laugh at me because I'm a CRO, revenue, marketing. Everything is about is a Type A personality. A great day for me because for those who don't know, I'm Canadian. We already had our Thanksgiving. So like this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is awesome. You know why? Because there's no Americans to talk to because they're all watching the Detroit Lions lose again at football. So because of that, it's like I get to sit at my desk and talk to nobody for 2 to 3 days. It is the only thing that rivals that is July 1st. That's it. It's awesome.
July 1st. Look at that.
Yes.
You see?
So,
he's letting me in on all the little secrets. But I got to
that logo above my head, Darryl.
Yes, I do see
the
it.
Detroit Lions logo. So I don't know if that
I
shot
grew
was
up
intentional.
I grew up on the Windsor-Detroit border. The reason I know they lose all the time is I'm a lifelong Lions fan.
Well, look at that.
Okay.
You see?
Yes.
Now, there's a professional. That's a true segue, the way he gets in and out without you hating him.
You see that? I trash talk the team, and then I sucked up again. That's a sales professional right there.
You know what that is? That's someone who knows sales enablement. That's someone who knows that's total nurturing. And that's what you do. Because, the platform, VanillaSoft, awesome, by the way. We could talk about it later. But it's only as good as the content. So you say that nurturing. So how do you do that? How do you engage people and have them not hate you and not unsubscribe?
So that's a really interesting. No one's actually asked me that question before. I've had variations of it, but so this is why I like the Deej. Because he says, how do you engage people and not have them unsubscribe? He got to the heart of the matter. In other words, what he just said, really, did you know how polite he said it? Was, you can be offensive sometimes, Praill. How do people not leave you? And that's awesome. So a couple things. Context. My wife says to me, I don't know. Actually, my kids say to me, who are in their 20s now, Dad, I don't know how you have any friends. Number one. My wife says to me, honey, how have you never been sued? I don't understand it. So that's the context. That's from your loved ones. What I like to do is I like to have a take. And I opened up by saying that. That's what I like Dan, I said, because he has a take. I like to put my take out there. And the problem I find with a lot of social media is the same thing with sales. Okay, this all comes back full circle. Is you can suck up to your prospect, or you can suck up to a Dan, Jordan, any other influencer you want to. And that's great. And you know what? You're unremarkable when you do that. You're just part of the noise. Everybody says like or preach or add a boy or you love it. Way to go. They all say that. The minute I move on to that next social media post, the minute I hang up on that prospect, they have no idea who I was. I did not leave an impression. But somebody who actually speaks truth in a respectful, tactful, direct method will leave a lasting impression. They may not like you. And so it's like sales. Sales is full of rejection. You need to learn the mindset to accept rejection and know it's not personal. They may not like you, but 99% will respect you. The best engagement I have is when somebody of notoriety says, ta-da, the sky is blue. And that is the truth. And that's the way it is, because I have so decreed. And everybody's doing preach, preach, preach. And I'll say, well, I agree the sky is blue, generally speaking. But there are times when and therefore I'm not fully in agreement with your statement. And this is why I think it matters. And what happens is two things. Everybody stops and grabs their popcorn because they're like, oh, Darryl just called out the individual who shall not ever be challenged because they are somebody notable. And often that individual is your prospect. How many times in sales do they teach you to push back on them? So, for example, the classic pushback part of discovery, which is, no, I don't want that feature. It needs to be this way. This is how we do it. And you're like, oh, what do they teach you? They say, well, help me understand why. Why would you do that? And you're like, why? 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 You're going at least 3 levels or more deeper. And why? And why? And when you push back far enough, you suddenly get to the point you go, oh, that's the real root cause of your pain. Not what you told me up here. Now I've uncovered it because I pushed back. I just didn't blindly accept it. I challenged you. And on social media, it's the exact same way. I have got more engagements. So when I started here at VanillaSoft, you asked, was I always this way? I wasn't. How did I get the start of some reputation and some notoriety? Because I pushed back like this. And what was amazing was every single influencer, every single Dan Jordan out there who has loyalty and following and influence would stop in the comments and go, oh my gosh, there's an articulate challenge to me. And they would engage with me because now they're intrigued and they're not used to it. And they want to have that conversation.
That is everybody. You need to record that and play it every morning when you go out on your sales calls. That is exactly right. It works both ways. Sometimes you want to give them a compliment because what you said was just brilliant. You want to do it. But if you just leave it there, it goes away. It's like it's unmemorable. But if you say you're brilliant and here's why, you point out 2 or 3 points, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, this guy's paying attention. Then you become a friend. That's exactly. By the way, it works. It works. One of my favorite all-time engagement things in person, or sometimes even when you're getting a referral. When you have a referral and you call somebody and you want to use the person's name, you want to use the recommendation. The first thing is I would call them up and I'd say, hey, Darryl, you don't know who I am, but I have a really good compliment for you. You got a minute for me? Nobody
ever says no, right?
No, nobody says no. And you can do it in person. You meet somebody and you stop and you don't even know them. You say, you know what? I have a compliment for you. Will you hold on 1 second? And they will stop and look at you. Then you got to figure out something nice to say to them. But,
yeah, nice to say. I love your profile pic, or your last post where you liked that comment was impressive. Yes, no, but because what that is, that's disruptive, right? Nobody else has done that to them. And that is no different than me being in your face or Dan being, the Energizer rabbit, the sales energizer. Yeah. I like to tell people, they'll say, Darryl, you move your hands a lot. You talk a lot with your hands. And I say, actually, I don't. I said, because I've been trained enough that I know that if I'm actually talking to you live, you'll see my hands in front of me like a news broadcaster paying attention to you. But when I'm doing video or a live stream, I know that you got your phone and you're scrolling. So all of a sudden you come across, Dan Jordan and Chris Stone, and you see this stream. And what makes you stop on that? And it's this. Ironically, it's the hands moving. It's me having a spasm that makes you stop and look. That's the same reason I've got a red curtain. Literally, it's there. It's red because nobody freaking else does red. It's to make you stop and look. And your point about, I've got a compliment for you. Boom! You have disrupted everything.
Yeah.
That is.
Okay, so I think what we should do is have spasms right now. So everybody
got to do it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now everybody.
Politically correct spasms.
That's
Chris.
Right.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
But by the way, that works. That disruption works in any medium. So it'll work in, if you're saying it, verbally like this, it'll work better if you just audibly over the phone. And it works on any kind of social media in writing platform or emails.
Yes.
Heck, that's what a headline is.
Yes.
Headline is to do nothing more than just to read the next line. So is that what you guys do with VanillaSoft? I mean, how does VanillaSoft actually help the individual salesperson because I think this is the thing. I'm going to go on a little tangent here, but I think this is the future. The future is not hiring salespeople and training them on your system and training them with the sales process. The future is that everybody considers himself like a self-employed vendor for the company. So like you have your own reputation. You're Darryl Praill, and you're branding for VanillaSoft. Every one of the salespeople are that way too. They need their own social presence. They need their own. Yeah. Okay,
did you hear what Dan just said? Did you? Okay. Stop there. I gotta stop there. Then we'll answer the question about VanillaSoft because I talk VanillaSoft all day long. Right. Look at your LinkedIn profile. People are judging you on your brand first, and then they're judging you on your employer and your engagement. All right. Have you updated your LinkedIn profile? And if not, why the hell not? Let me give you one really good reason. The number one reason should be because it's going to help you close more business. And honest to freaking God, it will. Because what's happening right now is you're outreaching, like you could be using VanillaSoft. You're doing this outreach and your headline worked. You don't know this, but it worked. And they're like, okay, who's this Dan Jordan guy? And they go to LinkedIn. They do two things. They go to LinkedIn and they go to Google for your company. That's what they're doing. Every single one. Trust me, I'm not lying. This is what happens. And if you don't impress me on LinkedIn, I don't think you add any value, even though you might be smart as hell. And I move on because I got so much noise. I'm just looking for a reason to get rid of you. I'm looking for a reason to say, no, I don't trust you. That's why you should do it, because it'll help you close more business. Because if it looks awesome, they're then going to say, okay, I liked your email. I like who you are. I like the website. And I'm going to engage and respond. And now your pipeline just doubled or tripled. That's why you should be doing it. Beyond that, though, a global pandemic could hit. And all of a sudden, you may find yourself laid off. And you're like, I need to feed myself and pay the bills. Why are you going to stand out from any other applicant for that next job? Because of your personal brand. Be selfish. Make more money. Have a career. That's why you need to do it. Brand is everything. I love you on that one. As it relates to VanillaSoft, love this conversation. So VanillaSoft is an interesting.
By the way, I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You are the best guest ever. All right, go on.
No problem. So I get really excited about this stuff. So VanillaSoft's really kind of a cool thing, right? Now, I'm coming at this as a CRO, so I own sales, but I'm also coming at this as a marketer because let's be honest, guys. Sales and marketing is like blurring like you wouldn't freaking believe. You sales reps are out there sending me emails telling me that my subject lines, exactly as Dave was talking about, my subject line sucks. And I have an 87% open rate. You want me to coach you, Darryl, Mr. CMO and CRO? I never got those emails before. Sales and marketing has blurred. So what does that mean? A sales engagement platform allows you to do massive outreach at scale, multi-channel, email, phone, social, SMS, because you don't know how each individual target you're reaching out to, which channel they prefer, which channel they check, which channel they'll respond to. That's why you do multi-channel. And the problem is, we all tend to do it the old-fashioned way. We make 2 or 3 attempts, and then we give up and go on to the next one. But statistically, we know it's anywhere from 9 to 12 attempts, just like branding. How many times do you need to see that billboard at the side of the road with Coke for fun and go, oh, there's a Coke freaking billboard there. I drove past it for the last 6 weeks, and I just saw it. It just resonated. That's why you have to do multi-touch output. Now, where sales engagement gets a bad rap, and this is going to be your question, Dan, was how does it help sales? Where it gets a bad rap is because too many sales reps are freaking lazy and you physically are just using boilerplate canned copy templates over and over again. And that will get you blocked and blacklisted faster than any way historical. Sales engagement will escalate and dramatically scale bad behaviors and shut you down in a hurry as much as it will escalate and scale awesome behaviors if you're good at your job. So what you need to do, whether you're using VanillaSoft or any other sales engagement platform out there, is you need to have a constant culture, a constant habit of A/B testing everything and adapting on the fly. The biggest thing we suffer from right now, many people will say to you, is copy culture. We're all copying everybody. Hey, Darryl, are you available tomorrow at 2 p.m. for 10 minutes? Copy culture. It's a template somebody got. That's not true. Every single professional athlete copies another athlete. We all watch game day film to see what we did right so we can copy it the very next day. Copy culture is not the problem. Innovation is the problem. Taking the initiative is the problem. Testing your hypothesis is the problem, and iterating nonstop. You do that, combined with sales engagement at scale, you're going to blow your numbers off the charts.
This guy is so money. I can't stand it.
It's so true that there are so many people that are like, oh, well, have you tried this? Have you tried the funnels? Have you tried, and so you're taking this template that somebody else has at a completely different, with a completely different brand, and you're just making a Xerox copy of a fax copy of a, of whatever.
Yes.
And it's like, listen, it has to be specialized for you and your business. If you're a solopreneur or what you're doing. It's not just about, oh, this person did that, so I need to do that too, and I will be just as successul as that person.
Well, the whole thing is mindset at this point, because you have the mindset to take the action. Here's the thing: what kills me, most of, aside from maybe purchasing the software, VanillaSoft, which ultimately pays for itself if you get one new customer. It's crazy, but
done. Yep.
But most of the rest of this stuff, it's flipping free. I mean, it's like free. It's not even any. It's free. Can you imagine? You imagine going back like a generation and tell your dad who started in a business and worked his brains out and tried to it was paying yellow pages and paying and figuring this stuff out, and then trying to brand himself, and then the neighbor comes along and spends more money and is able to make them go away and all this stuff, and it's free, and you're not doing it.
So this is why I talk about taking the initiative. All right. Classic line, not mine. Learning is earning. Right. So if you're watching Dan Jordan all the time, you're learning. Now, when you take the initiative to apply what you learn, or because maybe you don't believe it. Fair enough. You think Dan's an idiot? Hey, everybody thinks I'm an idiot. We talked about that. We offend half the people we talk to. Test it. Just test it. And what are two things is going to happen? One, you're right. We were an idiot. You were right. Now you're smarter. Or two, lo and behold, we weren't idiots. We were right. And now you're having more success. So scenario one, you get to brag. Look at me. I'm the shit. Or scenario two, look at me. I'm closing more deals. How do you lose? Take the initiative.
Yeah, there's no cause. It used to be back like with Dan Kennedy and the old kind of direct mail stuff that people they'd be happy if they got 1% return.
Yes.
Happy with the one. That's like a winner. And here we're able to do the A/B testing, and it costs a lot of money to mail out all those letters. Here we're doing A/B testing, and it's virtually free.
It's virtual, and it's crazy because with a tool like sales, like VanillaSoft for sales, is what you can do is you can actually segment all these things. So you can actually start testing. But what is this individual persona, right? So any kind of sales cycle, right? You probably should be, if you're doing your job right. And then the classic 3x3 window, right? Who are my 3 operational users I want to target in this account? Who are my 3 mid-level managers? Who are my 3 executive people? The classic, the window pane. Every single one of those people has a different message because they're different personas. I know Hunter and Meredith Elliott Pello like to use the word avatar. Hate that word, but whatever. Yeah. Test your message. You may get half those messages right and half will be wrong. You don't want to get that one wrong. Test. And the beauty is you can do it at scale with sales engagement. So now you have a statistically relevant sample size. So you can go, okay, now I'm feeling pretty good about this. But I want to throw something at you, Dan. You talk about learning. Let me flip it. Like Chris,
let's see what you got.
Just coming over the show, Chris. I apologize.
You guys need me to leave?
No, we're good. We're good. So my good friend Benjamin Dennehy. I don't want to give him a shout out because I hate him. But I
just checked this guy out. That guy's a monster. I love him. Get him on my show. So hook me up
on my 100th episode of my podcast, Inside Sales. You should follow it. I reached out to the crowd and I said, "What do I do for the 100th?" And they all came back and they said, "You interview all these people. Someone needs to interview you." So I went to my good friend Benjamin. He's been on my show 4 times, and I had him interview me. He makes a wonderful story that's totally relevant here that I want to challenge your audience on. So I gave him full attribution. Beyond that, he sucks. Don't like him. Don't follow him. He's awful. He tells a story. You talk about learning, where he goes to, and he's British, so they have this thing called the managing director. They don't have a CEO. So in other words, they would go to the managing director and they say, "I'm going to teach your reps how to be awesome." And they're like, "Yeah." So the managing director will walk him into the sales pit and say, "Guys and gals, he's going to teach you to be awesome. Yay!" And we're going to cover half the cost. We need you to cover half the cost. It's going to be 100 pounds, 500 pounds each, whatever it might be. Are you in? And you watch everybody go, whoa. And no one wants to own their own success.
Yeah.
What's your thought on that?
Yeah, well, I started. Thank you for that. And by the way, I'm gonna call that guy and get him out. He does something that I do too. Chris, remember the first time you met me? I was in front of an audience and I did a cold call live in front of everybody. Got a lead.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, I did that. This guy does that too.
He's awesome.
I thought I was the first, but his call was actually slightly better than mine. It was funny. He said, "This is a cold call. Do you want to hang up on me now?" Like that's his opening line.
Yep.
Very cool. No, I believe that like I said earlier, every salesperson needs to own their job. I tell a story about my dad when I first graduated high school. Chris has heard it a million times, but basically the story is this. He said, "Danny, if you get a little Jewish French accent." So he says, "Danny, remember this. In America, you get a job, you have one customer, and he's called a boss. And if he gets a wild hair up his rear end, decides to fire you, you got nothing. But Danny, if you're a salesman," he says, "then you can have 100 bosses, but they're called customers. And if one of them fires you, who cares? You got 99 more." So he's saying that your job is just another income source. It doesn't define you. It's just another income source. So if you want to succeed in that job, you got to own it. Make your own damn business cards. Go ahead and do your own marketing. Do your own branding. You own it. Pay the money for your own training. You own it. Ultimately, you will have more options and more income than you ever imagined.
So I love your father and so much wisdom right there. Okay, guys, listen, heads up. In the spirit of Dan's father, I built my own website. I paid to have logos done. I paid for the hosting. I bought my camera gear. I bought my microphone gear. I pay for my own podcasting for all things that are Darryl Praill related. Why? Because I need to make sure I'm successful. As Dan's dad said, as Dan just said, you need to own it. Just like you need to own your success when you're selling and you got one boss, to Dan's point, right? You are the one. As a CRO, this is what frustrates me the absolute freaking most. I'm therapy now, guys, is I will bring you the world's best trainers. I will bring you the industry's best technology. I will give you money and I will help brand you and package you up on LinkedIn. I will produce you in videos. I will ghostwrite content on your behalf. I do all of this so you're an expert as a sales rep. This is what we do here at VanillaSoft. And if you can't step up and learn my product and learn your ideal customer profile, learn your target audience, learn how to do discovery, learn how to practice and implement what you're doing, learn how to test. If you can't own your half of the deal, I will fire your ass. But if you step up and you own it and you screw up, I will give you second, third, 45 chances at bat because you're owning it and I can see you want it. You just gotta show some initiative here, folks. I'm begging with you, not because I get anything out of it. I mean, I do a CRO. If you do your job, I get to keep my job. It's a nice little thing we got going on here. But because I want you to make money, because sales is a freaking awesome, honorable career where you can make a shitload of cash and provide for your family. And do you not want to provide for your family? And all it takes is you owning it.
And you put that. I mean, usually I end the show with some motivational stuff, but I'm gonna pawn it off to you. Not that we're done yet, because this is too good. But that's exactly right. Financial security and freedom, which financial security offers you, does not come with having a job and just existing. It comes with knowing how to earn an income anytime, any place, anywhere you are, and that's by taking all the knowledge that you have and applying it, taking the initiative, and it's there. This is, and as Merck and Dante said, we live in a land of abundance. It's just for you to take it. You just have to do it. I think that's terrific. So how do people get a hold of you? What do you got? You got any special VanillaSoft offers? You got anything to hook up with people?
I was going to say something completely inappropriate, but Chris said I can't do that.
Well, who's your perfect customer? Who's your perfect customer?
That's a really good question. Okay, again, no one's asked me that one. Usually I try to slip it in there somewhere.
Listen, just hang out with the Deej.
You're the Deej, the sales energizer. Okay, so actually, Dan's asked a really good question, folks. Who's my perfect customer? Can you answer that question? Not my customer. Can you answer your favorite customer is? I'll tell you who my customer is, and I'll tell you why they're my customer. All right. So I started the show by saying when I began here, two of my biggest competitors that raised $250, $300 million, I had less than 1% of that. So those customers, no big surprise, SalesLoft and Outreach, right? You know the names. They've done a very good job branding. They're reasonable products. Not VanillaSoft, but they're okay. So how do I compete against that? Because any category typically only has two leaders, Coke and Pepsi, GM and Ford, Microsoft and Apple, or maybe IBM once upon a time. You get the idea. Only two. So how do you compete against that? Well, I like to say, are you a pretender, which many of you are you a contender, or are you a leader? So I can be a contender if I play, or even maybe it's quasi-pretender, if I play in the same markets as them where they've already established leadership. It's going to be a long haul. It's going to be a slog. It's going to be a bitch. Or I can say, I'm going to go to a market. I'm going to pivot to a market where I can succeed, where my customers are already having success, where I can build upon that success, and where it's a blue ocean, not a red ocean. And that's exactly who and what we did. So, Dan, to answer your question, we are a sales engagement platform for SMB audiences, not enterprise audiences, SalesLoft, Outreach, in real world industries, not high tech, where 95% of their install base. So manufacturing, healthcare, finance. Think of it as the classic pyramid. They take the top of the pyramid for high tech. I took every freaking thing else. That's where I sell. My product roadmap goes there. My content goes there. As we like to say, high tech early adopters, they love AI. My customers, they like ROI. Not AI.
That's all right, so I'm going to interrupt you because I want to find the perfect customer. So I'm involved in a lot of small businesses. The same thing, when we work with a company that had the best year ever, or work with a salesperson, they'll be the top person in the office. A good customer for me, if you hear someone say, man, we need to hire some more salespeople, but we can't make mistakes this time. That's a perfect one. Yeah, you got to talk to the Deej. So what would I have to hear from one of my customers to say, hey, you need VanillaSoft? What would be their complaint?
Our problem is our sales team not making enough calls. Our sales team take a freaking long time to follow up on the leads that we spend a lot of money to get them, trade shows, webinars, whatever it might be. Our sales reps are afraid of the phone, or they're afraid of social media, all right? Our sales reps don't know how to convey a message, and they're on autopilot, making the same mistakes all the time. I need a way to make sure they respond to leads with speed to lead. I need a way to make sure they're persistent, not 2 or 3 attempts, 9, 12, 18, 29 attempts until you finally get a hold of them. I need a way to make sure they're doing every single channel out there, social, phone, email, SMS, video, whatever the hell it takes. I need that way. I need a way to actually control who they're chasing, because the problem is they spend all day cherry picking. I want to force them to follow up on certain leads that are more important than other leads. That my system follow my rules to serve them the next best lead to pursue. That's what I need. They're really good on the phone, or they're really good on email once they get there. I just need to make them freaking do it.
So that's why your system makes their sales team much better.
Yes.
Through all that engagement. You know what you need is a jingle. Imagine if you had a jingle, something like that. That's what you should do.
Oh, you know what? That's the other thing too. Is like we do need to take a pause, Darryl. I'm sorry from a word from our sponsor.
If your sales team sucks and you don't know what to do, call Deej 678-910-9912. Call Deej 678-910-9912.
I'm sorry.
We're back.
Okay, no.
I'm
None of
sorry.
that
It was too well placed. I couldn't.
Oh, dude. Okay, Chris, can you play that again? You got to play that again. Do that again.
You don't even
We can
have
change
to.
it.
Your sales team sucks and you don't know what to do. Call Deej 678-910-9912. Call Deej 678-910-9912.
Okay. So remember the question was who would want your team, your product, your service? That's what Dan asked me. What is the jingle? First thing he said, if your sales team sucks and you don't know what to do.
Hey, call VanillaSoft.
I love it.
That's it. There you go. So that's go. Oh, well, that's awesome. So we got that. Do you have any books? You got anything you're selling? Anything I can promote for you here?
We got a 2-week free trial. Come check it out. There's no cost. One of the things that's really cool about us versus a lot of the other vendors out there is we're month to month. So if you want to kick the tires on, A, it's 2 weeks free. And B, it's month to month. So if you decide in a month you didn't like it, or in 2 weeks you didn't like it, you're not locked in for a year. That's what I would do. Go to the website. We got a boatload of content. My gosh, we have content. We go to the insidesales.com for the podcast. We got the Benjamin Dennehy's on there. We got everybody else you can imagine. If you need kick-ass content, I hang out with cool people that I totally respect, just like Dan Jordan, every freaking day. Just go to the site. And because why? Because remember what Dan said? You got to learn. So, and he said it's free. So just go freaking do it.
Yeah. Don't feel like an idiot. That's why I eat an apple a day. I don't want to walk into God one day and say, hey, listen, come on in. But you would have had 10 more years, you putz, if you just ate an apple a day.
Yes.
So it's free. Just go ahead and engage.
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to give you the final word here. So you're talking to a bunch of people who are salespeople who want to get better and are looking to engage and looking to brand themselves. I'm just buying time here so you can think of some stuff.
You're doing a great job.
Let me tell you what my daughter said about you. Because I showed her the picture and I said, well, this guy's coming on. You know what she said?
What?
That man looks like he's rich.
I like your daughter.
I don't know if that's what you were going for, but it gained credibility right off the bat.
No, there's no 10x factor going on here. I'll leave that a little fun there for those who, if you know, you know. Final advice I would have.
I don't want to put you on the spot. No big deal.
No, it's good.
Chris Stone does that to me all the time.
Well, he's an ass, isn't he? I never liked that Chris Stone guy. No, honestly, so I got to ask the question today, and this is what I do want to share this with you. I got to ask the question of the day, and it's come up once or twice, but I've had more people comment on my answer every time I give the answer. The question was this: Darryl, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self? So my advice to you, if you're a 20-year-old, you're a young person in your career, 25, 28, 29, you're trying to figure it all out, is two things. Step number one, in all honesty, believe in yourself. You're sitting here and you're looking at people like Dan or myself, or you're a boss, you're customers, you're calling into maybe C level or V level, and you're going, I have no right to have this conversation with these people. I don't know. They know so much more than me. I'm intimidated. I'm insecure. I have imposter syndrome. That's bullshit, okay? Can we just be clear on this? It's bullshit. You can so research all these people, read a few books, watch a few videos, read a few blogs, follow them online, and you can easily step up and have a conversation, because your job is not necessarily to give them the answer. Your job is to lead them to the answer. And how you do that is with sales processes like simple qualification and discovery techniques. All right, MedPick, whatever you want to use. That's your job. You're a facilitator. You're a connector. Believe in yourself. The second thing is, if you wait for permission, you will never have the career progression you always want. And too many of us, again, because we have imposter syndrome, we go to our bosses or whomever and we say, hey, can I do this? I think this is a good idea. What do you think? And they always say, no, that's not how we do things here. Or no, I don't think so, because they're biased with their own baggage. And therefore you don't do it. And then later on, you hear somebody else did it and you're like, damn, that's what I said and it worked for them. That could have been me, because you didn't believe in yourself. That was point number one. So my point to you is this. If you really think something is out there and will have a phenomenal ROI for you, results, more sales, more pipeline, more successes, whatever it might be, test it. The theme today, go and do it. And then if it doesn't work out, well, now you know. And if it does work out, now you go back to your boss and instead of saying, can I do this? You're saying, I did this and this was the result. Your boss's reaction will be like, dang. And your visibility, your stature, your profile escalates so much faster than anybody else in the team, and you're on the fast track to that career that you want to have. So believe in yourself and take a risk. That's my advice to you.
That is just money. So in essence, Chris Stone, there's no such thing as failure. You just call it testing.
It's
You
just
guys
testing.
are awesome out there. Go get them.